Hello, welcome to AFOL and
the Kid.
And we have brought the Lego Titanic down to Hythe Marina. We live sort of fairly local to the New Forest, so we brought it down here. We're directly here opposite berth 44, which is in the background over there, where you can see all the lights. So the original Titanic would have set sail on its fateful voyage from dock berth 44 over the water there, sailed along this stretch of water out to the open sea. Most of the staff and most of the passengers boarded in Southampton over the other side there, ourselves included. There aren't many people that don't have a relative or some sort of link to the Titanic, so we thought we'd bring it down here, put it in this beautiful spot so you can see where the original Titanic would have been and where it would have set sail from, and just take a few moments of peace just to see this beautiful Lego model on the sea where the Titanic would have set sail from, and just take a few moments to think about the tragedy that was Titanic before we go back to the studio and we'll review the actual Lego model and have a bit of fun with it. But we appreciate that it's you know, it is a sensitive subject, and we just wanted to do this little bit of moments of remembrance really, and a little bit of peace and thoughtfulness before we get into the fun of the model itself. So yeah, we'll leave a few minutes peace now just so that you can see this beautiful model in front of the beautiful water and the berth 44 in the background where the original Titanic set sail from. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the Lego Titanic in front of the water where the original ship would have set sail from. We'll see you back in the studio for a review of the set, and we'll have a bit of fun with it and talk about the Lego and the fact that it is a toy and it's a construction toy. But we did want to pay our respects to it as well, having family relatives ourselves that were involved in the Titanic tragically. You know, it is a touching subject, so we wanted to pay homage to it first of all before we went back and had a bit of fun with it. So yeah, thanks for watching this section. We'll see you back in the studio soon.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to AFOL and
the Kid.
And we're just going to do a quick overview and review with regards to this monstrous of a model from Lego, the Titanic. It's big. Yeah. It's Titanic, you might say. Yeah. Yeah, Kid. What do you reckon? Iceberg? Get it?
Yeah.
It's because of the iceberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
iceberg lettuce?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the model in hand. Hopefully you've watched our little previous intro video which we did down in Southampton waterfront. So we did a little review of this section when we put this in front of berth 44, which is where the Titanic left Southampton. Obviously it was made in Belfast in Ireland, and you know it travelled to various ports, but most of the passengers embarked or got onto the ship in Southampton itself, and most of the staff on the Titanic came from Southampton as well. So as we said in the previous little clip, there are lots of people around here where the Titanic is quite a poignant thing, and people had relatives that were staff or on board the ship, as lots of people did from America and England and other countries as well. So it's a very tragic story, as we all know, and poignant. So we've done a little bit of a reflection video putting the Lego Titanic in front of where it left port in Southampton on its fateful voyage, just to pay a little bit of homage and respect to it, because it deserves it. It's a strange thing for Lego to make a model of the Titanic, isn't it?
Yeah, because they don't do like world stuff, the killing things.
Yeah, they don't tend to do war
stuff,
stuff, army stuff, which this isn't, but it is a tragic story, I guess. Keeping the memory alive, we have the Titanic Museum here in Southampton. The Lego designer video did a piece with this model in the Titanic Museum in Southampton, and it keeps the memory alive. And I guess, you know, it was a fantastic ship at the time, of its time as well, because it was full of Art Deco and very high-end furnishings and finishes, and at its time.
And I love the bits in here where the actual passages are.
Yeah, I mean the detail on this is second to none. So let's just talk about, you know, the Lego itself. I personally think it's good that Lego have done this. It keeps the Titanic memory alive, and just, you know, tragedy aside, the ship itself was pretty spectacular for its day. Yeah. And you know it's infamous. So I think that, you know, having a model of it, there's been models done by other companies such as Kobe and Brickform, but obviously models have been made of the Titanic by various companies for years and years and years, so it's nothing new in that sense. But what Lego have done here is something a little bit extra special. This is a conversation piece. I mean, we had this down in Hythe yesterday, didn't we? In front of the water there as the sun went down. And the amount of people that came and stopped and went, wow, is that the Titanic?
We had a really nice long conversation, didn't we?
We did, yeah, with several people that came along and were interested in the model itself and the Titanic. So people are interested, and I think the way Lego have done this is very tasteful. It didn't need figures, it didn't need minifigures or anything like that.
No.
But it's a very tastefully done model, which is so accurate. It kind of takes my breath away a little bit. I think at this scale you expect things to be fairly accurate and fairly detailed, and the bigger the model, the easier I suppose it is to put detail into it. But that takes nothing away from the fact that the detail on this model is phenomenal. If you put pictures of the Titanic up against this, even like just the little curves in the front of the decks and things like that, the designers, hats off to you, Lego.
They've got every single little detail, like
I think in terms of getting detail in Lego form, it's pretty special.
Do you think the lifeboats are scaled to this model?
I think everything is pretty well scaled to the model itself. I'm not sure what scale this is exactly.
I think it might be a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's not nano fig scale or anything like that. I don't think they've been concerned about that. I think Lego have worked backwards with this model, so they've taken key details that they wanted to make sure they got into the ship, and then they've worked backwards with the pieces they've got, and that's why it's ended up the size that it has. It is huge. I mean, I knew how big it was. I mean, it's about 135 centimetres long. You need space above it as well to get, to display it accurately. So you need a little bit of depth, but not too much in terms of the shelf depth. If you're going to have this overhanging a shelf, you need at least a 90 centimetre long shelf just to accommodate the little stands, little feet that are on there, even if you have it overhanging like we have here. But if you've got a sloped ceiling or anything like that, you do need to just be aware that you need a little bit of height to get this on there. But it is breathtaking. It does come apart into 3 sections. You've got like 2 little keys you can take out. We're not going to take that out though, because it would be quite a lot of effort for us to do that, because just getting this on camera alone was difficult enough. Getting it down to Hythe without pieces falling off was tough enough as well, wasn't it? I had the kid holding a piece in the passenger seat and wrap him in bubble wrap to make sure he didn't drop too much of it. So we won't do that. There are plenty of videos out there now. We've purchased this model ourselves, so we haven't been provided this by Lego. So obviously Lego do that for some reviewers, and they get it really early, and they do really good in-depth reviews. So if you want something really, really good and in-depth, you can hunt those out. And there are plenty of official images out there, and any Lego shop has this in the window at the moment, although it has sold out here in the UK at the moment. So it goes to show its popularity.
In the Lego shop, they have it glued together, don't they?
Oh, yeah, it is glued together in the Lego shop. A lot of them.
Imagine if they got a piece in the wrong place.
Oh yeah, I mean you can get some bits apart, like an acetone or something. But yeah, anyway, we'll leave that to Lego. Yeah. But just to give you what I think of this model, I mean, what do you think of it, kid? What do you think?
It's the best model which Lego's ever released, I think. Just all the details.
So if you walk in a room and you see this on someone's shelf...
Whoa, is that Lego?
Yeah.
Is that the Titanic? Whoa!
Yeah, it does kind of blow your mind a little bit. And that's a lot to do with the fact that it is so big. I mean, I knew how big it was going to be, but still, when you build it and you put the pieces together...
you know how big it is, but then you look at it and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I have no idea where it's going to be put at the moment. But but just coming back to the model itself, I don't think Lego could have squeezed any more detail into this model if they tried it. It's got, when you look at pictures of the Titanic, you think, is that there? And you think, oh yeah, that represents that and that represents that. Yeah. The angle of the funnels. What's your little fact about the funnels on the Titanic?
That only 3 of them actually function.
Yeah.
One of them does not function, it's just for show.
Just for the aesthetic of the ship. So
I reckon it would be one of these 2, because then it looks like smoke's coming out from these 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one or how it kind of factored in, but yeah, that is.
But you wouldn't really tell the difference, because when the Titanic actually set off, would be smoke all up here, wouldn't it? You wouldn't really be able to see much up here.
That's right. And the rigging is good and it's nice. To take this apart, you pull the two keys out, you just disconnect the little studs at the top here to disconnect the rigging. There is a little gear on this side where you can just tighten up this rigging across the top just a little bit to keep it a little bit taut. It does loosen up over a few days, so you keep having to tweak that. What else can we say? The build experience,
brilliant.
I really enjoyed. It's not.
I enjoyed it too.
You enjoyed it. You built a very, very tiny bit of it. And that said, it is not for young builders. It's quite complex. Not overly complex. I didn't struggle with it. But you certainly got to have your wits about you. You've got to concentrate on it. There's a lot of repetition.
So if you make a mistake somewhere like down there, and you're like, you've built all of this, and you're like, oh gosh.
It's difficult to unpick. It can be done, but it is a lot of work to unpick.
Speaking of unpicking, it comes with a piece remover, always handy. Some Lego sets don't, and that's kind of annoying.
I think most, only the small ones, but most of the bigger sets do. Yeah. But the windows and all the little cabins and stuff was quite, it was quite a repetitive build.
That's first class.
They are accurate.
Second class,
I don't think so you've got all the portholes and stuff are covered in there. But yeah, the way this comes together, the sections that you build, and then when you clip it all together and put the keys in, you can pick it up quite easily. It's fairly sturdy.
Yeah.
But
in its sections.
Yeah. There's no play features on this, so there's nothing really for you to play with, is there?
Except these parts.
The propellers, yeah, they do spin, and when you take it apart into thirds, you do get the engines inside will spin as well. So for the interior detail, and the interior detail is nice, but they've just sort of factored that in so that you can take this apart for transportation. But it is nice they've done that. The angle of the funnels, the way those little sections are built up is lovely.
Good.
And all the little benches and everything, the way those little builds clip in, really clever. So what I did get from building,
these parts?
it's just the detail, isn't it? What I did get from building this was just an absolute in awe respect of the Lego designers, because I think we all think, oh yeah, I can build Lego, I could design and build Lego, but this is something else.
Yeah.
To get it, the structure inside the skeleton of it to be strong but to be light, all the studs on side building and all the sections that clip on all the plates to get all the curvatures using the pieces that Lego have got available. Top job. Price. It's expensive, it's a lot of pieces.
It's worth it though, isn't it?
Well, is Lego really worth what you pay for it in terms of plastic? I think, it's getting more and more expensive. It's probably not, but everything's worth what people are going to pay for it, isn't it? The Lego Attack that's just come out now is more expensive than this and less pieces, but probably more, substantial pieces in that.
It's going to be ginormous. Hopefully we're going to do a review of that.
Well, hopefully we will. But this is definitely better value than that. I think that model, despite its stature and grandeur and being Star Wars and Disney and being just a phenomenal model in its own right, this is something else. This is something for a real hobbyist, an avid detailer. I think it shows fairly good value. I mean, it's best part of £600 here in the UK.
Yeah.
But I think, bearing in mind the piece count, the detail, the effort that's gone into designing this, it's very intricate. It's there or thereabouts. It's certainly better value than some of the other sets that are that kind of expense. Again, we'd always like to see these models cheaper, but this is going into that really high-end market. And if you like the Titanic, you like a really intricate build, you like your detail.
Yeah, get this immediately.
Yeah, I think it holds up in terms of value for its size and scale. I do think, they could have done it a bit smaller and a bit cheaper. Wouldn't have quite had the detail on it, I do understand that, but I mean, it is huge. It probably just is a little bit too big. But that said, I do love it. I think it's an amazing model. I think it's going to look great when we find somewhere to put it. Yeah, I can't really say much more about it. There's obviously a lot of videos out there giving you a lot of intricate detail on it, but you can look up pictures of the Titanic and compare it, contrast it, and you'll find most of the details are represented here very well in Lego form. And the size of it, I mean, we've had to rearrange everything to get this just to fit on the camera. It is behemoth. You do need a long shelf to fit this on, but if you've got the place to put it, this is definitely a Lego model for the high-end enthusiast, if you just like really, really high-end detail, then it's for you. So I think it shows fairly good value for money once you've got it, once you've built it, once you appreciate it. I think it probably is there or thereabouts worth the money that you pay for it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed our little overview of this model, and the little bit we did before as well down in Hythe Marina opposite berth 44 where the Titanic set sail. It was really nice for us to go down there and put this there and show it off to people and kind of, you know, show where it would have set off, and I think it did it justice. So that was a little bit of a different take on it from us. But we hope you enjoyed what we've had to say about it, and just seeing this thing on screen and seeing it down in Southampton water where it set sail from. And we will see you for our next review very soon. Make sure you subscribe to keep this boat afloat. Yeah, well that's it, that would be nice. And watch out for icebergs. Not that cabbage again. No good? No. Okay. If we don't do another review before Christmas, everyone have a great Christmas. Thanks for your support this year. We are a new channel, and so we do really appreciate your support. Give us comments. Have you got this model? What do you think of it? Do you think it's value for money or not? Yeah, let us know, and we'll see you back here again soon for another review of something fantastic. Hopefully we'll get some Lego for Christmas. Fingers crossed. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.